Hi, 7th graders. We're on lesson 5-6. It starts on page 275 in your textbook. Our learning target is estimating percents. So sometimes we will be given numbers or a percent to figure out a number, and we can try to find compatible numbers, which are two numbers that are easy to divide mentally, which we'll talk more about as we go through the lesson. We can find compatible numbers to help us estimate the percent and come to a close number. So, for example, if we want to find, or if we want to estimate 19% of 20, 19% of 30. We know that 19% is close to 20%, and we know then that 20% is 1/5, so which we learned in 5-4, right? And we can use our table to figure that out. So you might want to flip back to your table in your notes so you can keep going back and forth. So then if we want to find 20% of 30, then since 20% is 1/5, okay, I am just jumbling up all of my numbers already, and I'm only on the first problem. Great. Then we want to find 1/5 of 30. We know that 1/5 of 30 is the same as 1/5 times 30, which ends up being 30 divided by 5 is 6. So then our answer would be 19% of 30 is approximately 6, because remember we went up to 20. So it's not exactly 6, but it's about 6. 40% of 49. So we know that 40% is 2/5. And we know that 49 is really close to 50, obviously. And 50 is compatible with the number 5. Okay? And I should step back here for a minute because we also know that 30 and 5 are compatible numbers. It makes it easy for us to do in our head. So that is why 20% worked well with the 30. So back to 40% of 49. 2/5 of 50 then is what we would be looking for. And 2/5 times 50, so we would go 50 times 2, which is 100, and divide it by 5. So then our answer is approximately 20. So 40% of 49 is approximately 20. 65% of 76. So if we look at our table and we look for a percent that is really close to 65%, we know that, or we can see that 66 and 2/3% is on there. So we can do 66 and 2/3, and we know that 66 and 2/3, it tells us, is 2/3 as a fraction. Yes, that is supposed to be a 2. Okay, 2/3. Now we want to find a number. Holy moly. Let's erase this and rewrite that. 66 and 2/3% is 2/3. There we go. Okay? So now 2/3 of. We want to find a number that is close to 76 that is compatible with 3. That is going to be compatible with multiplying by 2 and then dividing by 3. And we know that 75 can be divided by 3. So then we can go, what is 2/3 of, what is 2/3 of 75? So 75 times 2 is 150, and then we can divide it by 3. So 150 divided by 3 is 50. So then we can estimate that 65% of 76 is about 50, approximately 50. Okay, if we look at 25% of 41, we know that 25% is in our table, and it's 1/4. And now we want to think of a number that is compatible with 1/4, or basically a number that can be divided by 4 easily in our head. 41 cannot, but we know that 40 can. So 1/4 of 40, 40 times 1 divided by 4 would be approximately 10. So 25% of 41 is approximately 10. Okay, so we're looking at our percent that we're given, and we're seeing if it's a common percent and if we're able to change it to a fraction. And then once we have it to a fraction, we look for a compatible number that we can easily do in our head or easily divide by or multiply by to get an approximate number. So if we are going the opposite way now, we want to, this time, we want to figure out what the percent is. So if we are given 8 out of 25, I'm going to write that as a ratio, so 8/25. Okay, and we want to estimate the percent. So we know that 8/25 cannot be simplified anymore. But if we change it to 8/24, if we simplify 8/24, think of that, take a second to think of what that would equal. 8/24 would equal 1/3. If you look on your table, what percent equals 1/3? So look on your table, and you can see that it is that 1/3 equals 33 1/3%. So 8 out of 25 is approximately 33 1/3%. Okay, if we have 89 out of 121, so I'm going to go like this, 89 out of 121, so we write it as a ratio. Okay. I know that if I change this to, I know that 89 is close to 90, and 121 is close to 120. So 89 over 121 is approximately 90 over 120. If I simplify 90 over 120, I can divide both numbers by 30. 90 divided by 30 is 3, because 30, 60, 90. And 120 divided by 30 would be 4. So we have 3/4. And then if we look on our table, we can see that 3/4 is approximately 75%, or 3/4 is 75%, but we want to keep it as an approximate because we changed our numbers. So 89 out of 121 is approximately 75%. Okay, if we have 14 out of 25, whoops. 14 out of 25, so I'm going to write this as a ratio. 14/25. That is in simplest form, 14/25. So it's hard for me to, there is no fraction in our table that tells us what the percent of 14/25 is, but I know that 15/25 is very close to 14/25, and if I simplify 15/25 and I divide both my numerator and denominator by 5, I would get 3/5. And then I look at my table, and 3/5, as you can hopefully point out and see, is 60%. So 14 out of 25 is approximately 60%, because 15 out of 25 we know is 60%. So 14 out of 25 is very close. Sometimes it will take you Sometimes you'll change the top or the bottom and you'll realize, oh yeah, that doesn't work, that doesn't simplify, that doesn't give me a fraction from my table, and that's okay. Then you can just cross it off and try to look for a different fraction. Okay, last one. If we have 7 out of 79, I'm always thinking in my head, what can I do? What numbers are close to each one that I know are compatible and will go together easily? So 7 is very close to 8, and 79 is very close to 80, obviously. And 8/80ths can be simplified to 8 divided by 8 would be 1. 80 divided by 8 is 10. 1/10, as we know, but you can look on your table, is 10%. So 7 out of 79 is approximately 10% because it's really, really close to 8 out of 80. Okay, that is all I have for you for tonight's lesson for 5-6. Make sure you go into NICU and take the 5-6 NICU quiz. And also make sure that you are filling in your vocabulary words for compatible numbers. And if you have other ones from previous lessons, you may want to make sure you get those filled in as well. Have a super evening.